Hi, my name's Connor, and sometimes I get angry in cars. If there's anything that Mr. Krabs taught me, it's that the customer is always right. And that was something that was ingrained in my head, and I followed and abided by, and it affected how I dealt with customer service situations. That wasn't until I got a job in customer service. Everything changed. Turns out, the customer is not always right. And it's a bit unreasonable for that to be a statement that people live by. That being said, the customer should be given the benefit of the doubt. Being a customer grants you certain rights. It does give you the right to be treated with good service, right? That's reasonable to assume that. It does not give you the right to talk down to someone as if they are meaningless or nothing just because they're wearing a name tag and a uniform, right? That's ridiculous that people still do that and that they don't know that that's not okay, right? Granted, being the customer, that does give you power in that situation. However, with great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Ben told me that shortly before he was murdered. And then, as a result of the rage that happened because of his murder, I then decided to become a superhero for the people of New York City. That's a different story, okay? You don't get to talk to someone like they're less of a person than you. That isn't okay on so many levels. That's just not okay. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. People all the time, they're like, why do politicians abuse power? What is up with that? Like, why would they do that? Camera just moved. You okay? You guys good? They ask that all the time, and I'm like, okay, to look at every customer service situation and realize that it's not just politicians who abuse power. I'm starting to believe that people just abuse power. When they're given it, they're like, oh, I'm gonna run with it. Humans just like to run with the power that's given to them. However, the thing is, we don't have to do that, right? I operate my life under a simple rule. Don't be a jerk, right? There is no reason to be a jerk to anyone, really, unless they're a jerk to you. But if they're not a jerk to you, the problem is the problem, right? If people stop being jerks to each other, then there's no reason to be a jerk back to that person. Maybe it's a vicious cycle that can be unbroken. Can't be unbroken. But, however, I just don't be a jerk to people. Be good to people, because sometimes the person who you're talking down to, even though you might think that they're just a name tag and a t-shirt, that person has feelings. And maybe that person has mental history of letting things get to them and affecting them deeply for a very long time. And they have to go home and be asked by their mom, what's wrong? Right? That's not okay. It's not okay. So, that's all I had to say about that. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments and all that. But yeah, as always, I'm glad I got that off my chest. I'm Connor Manning. You just become a little more awesome, and I will see you guys on Monday. We'll do a real video. I like these one takes. Well, let's do a real video. Wait for it. Hi, I make videos every Monday and Friday, if you didn't know that. If you did know that, good for you. Thanks for sticking around. If you didn't know that, hi. Feel free to share this video on your Facebook or Twitter if you want, if you agree with what I said. But a thing happened today that, God, just really... it did not, God, man, it really was not a positive experience. It was a very negative one. Getting yelled at for something you didn't do. Not fun. Not fun. I'm gonna go home, probably play some FIFA. But yeah, I'll see you guys on Monday.